Well, things looked bad for our hero last time, didn't they?
You said it.
Rocky has been blindfolded and tied up in a hole under the Farmers and Swineherds National Bank right next to a charge of dynamite with a burning fuse.
You said it.
And the fiend behind all this is Boris Badenoff, alias Babyface Braunschweiger, the Minnesota Monster.
You said it. Come on, fellas. Last one out of the hole is a dead squirrel.
Quickly, the gang scrambled to safety, leaving Rocky alone with the dynamite.
Gee, if I can just get to the fuse, maybe I can put it out.
And the fearless squirrel inched his way toward the sound of the sizzling fuse. First, he tried sitting on it.
Shh! Ow! That'll never do.
He even tried to pull the fuse out of the dynamite, only to find that it was a lot longer than he thought.
Gee, I guess I'm really a goner this time. Help! Help!
But the wily Babyface Badenoff had roped off the area above, and no one could get near enough to hear Rocky's cries. Meanwhile, on his way to Ponca City, Bullwinkle was pedaling slowly up the slopes of George Washington Hill.
Boy, this is quite a grade. Needs a little more moose muscle.
But just as Bullwinkle stood up to push hard on the pedal, his bicycle chain snapped. And Bullwinkle's bike began to rush backward down the hill at frightening speed. Of course, still facing forward, he had no idea where he was going.
Sure I do. I'm going down.
But you can't see where you're heading.
On the other hand, I get a grand view of where I've been.
Meanwhile, in the hole under the bank, Rocky watched in desperation as even the now lengthened fuse grew shorter and shorter.
Shh. Hey, Babyface, that fuse is taking an awful long time.
Somebody might go down and rescue that squirrel.
Nonsense. Nobody but idiot would go near hole with those signs around it.
But at that moment...
Gangway! Look out wherever you are!
And Bullwinkle's speeding bicycle crashed through the guardrail and right down into the hole.
Who is it? Who's there?
I'm not sure, but I think it's me.
Well, who's me?
Who's you? You's a Rocky the Flying Squirrel.
Bullwinkle, you've come to save me.
I have? I have!
In a twinkling, Bullwinkle had freed Rocky, and our two friends scrambled wildly up the ladder as the fuse burned shorter and shorter.
So nobody but an idiot would go down there, eh, Babyface?
Well, look at him.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
They must have put out fuse. Come on. Remember, he who hesitates is lost.
And the gang climbed into the hole again.
You got any other bright sayings, Babyface?
Of course. You can't keep a good crook down.
Golly, Bullwinkle, those fellas are going to rob the bank.
Oh, that's terrible.
You know what we got to do, don't you?
Sure, we gotta withdraw our money quick.
No, we got to warn them.
Why? They know they're going to rob the bank.
No, we have to warn the people in the bank. Come on.
Oh, that's very astute of you, Rocky.
You mean astute, Bullwinkle.
You may be astute. I'm astute.
Well, that was certainly true enough, for Bullwinkle's way of warning the bank was to rush in and shout,
Hey, everybody! It's a stick-up!
Instantly, the bank guards began firing at our friend.
That was the wrong thing to say, Bullwinkle.
Boy, some people are sure touchy.
And as our heroes crouched under a hail of lead, in the basement below, the light-fingered 5-2 was once again hard at work carrying off bag after bag of greenbacks.
Correction, that's green box.
Be sure to be with us next time for Many a Thousand Gone, or the Hall of Fame.
And now...
Hey, Rocky! Watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
But that trick never worked.
This time for sure. Presto! Well, I'm getting close.
And now it's time for another special feature.
Once upon a time, in a little pond in the Middle West, lived an ugly duckling who wanted to be a movie star.
I ought to be in pictures. Da-da-da-da-da.
He was the star of his local dramatic club, and he was written up in his hometown newspaper for his acting in Cyrano de Ducarac Hamlet, the melancholy duck, and Duck of a salesman, but this kind of fame meant nothing to him. He wanted to be a movie star.
I'm just ripe for some lucky scout to discover.
So the ugly duckling left his little pond and journeyed far away to a place where all the big talent scouts came to scout talent, a place called Schwab's Swamp. All around him were pictures of the ducks who had been discovered there.
Duck Benny, Duck Jones, Duck Rogers. Gee, even Duck Tracy.
And sure enough, talent scouts were discovering ducks all around him.
Hey, you.
Me?
No, him. Sign here.
Hey, handsome.
Yes?
Not you, ugly, him. Will 1,000 a week be enough?
But alas, nobody wanted to discover the ugly duckling.
Ugly? Gosh, looks like I'm a has-been before I was even a was.
My, for a duck, you are certainly a silly goose.
What do you mean?
You can't just sit there and wait for them. Make them discover you.
By golly, I'd do it.
Soon, the ugly duckling was standing before one of the biggest producers in town, J.B. Hogfat himself.
Now get this, J.B. Don't you see, Captain? There's no time now. We are thinking of women and children. You're the only one who can get through safely. Go, take the last boat. I will stay and keep the ship off the rocks. Don't think of me. I've lived my life. Think of the children.
Magnificent. Oh, you're a great actor, Duck.
Then I get a contract?
Of course not. You're ugly as a mud fence, but you were superb.
Yeah, that figures.
The ugly duckling tried and tried.
Ah, my little pigeon, come with me to the swamp. In its dark, mysterious byway, you will come to know the ways of love, l'amour.
Duck, you are greatest lover in world.
But,
You ugly.
no soap.
No soap.
Still, the duckling didn't give up.
Such grace, such rhythm. Another Astaire, a new Gene Kelly.
But I'm too ugly for a contract, eh?
Oh, much too.
Thought so.
And it was the same story with everyone he saw.
Gracious, you are an ugly one.
Cab, please.
Yes, Ugg. Yes,
Hey, mister,
Yes?
how come you're so ugly?
All right, I get the idea.
Broken-hearted, the duck returned to Schwab's Swamp.
It's no use. I got a face that would stop a clock, even an electric clock.
Oh, you silly goose. You give up so easily. Haven't you ever heard of facelifting?
I don't want it higher. I want it prettier.
Then go to a plastic surgeon. Get your beak bobbed, your feathers lifted. Get handsome.
Yes, I'll do it.
So, several weeks later, at the hospital,
I have good news for you, my boy. Today the bandages come off.
Hurry, Doc. I got to know.
See, you're lovely.
It's true. You are good looking.
it was true. The doctor had done the trick. Without wasting a minute, the handsome duckling dashed back to the producer's office.
Well, here I am, J.B. Just slip the contract under here. I'll just sign it. I won't even read it.
What do you talk? I won't give you a contract.
Why?
You're too blamed good looking.
Two?
Well, it seemed as if the trend in movie making had switched to horror pictures. The thing in the duck pond. It ducked from outer space. Ugly Duck meets Wolfman.
Sorry, bud, I can't use any good lookers. Excuse me. Hello, Myron. Yeah, me too. But there was a duck here last week who'd be perfect for the part.
Me. It was me.
Faced like 3 days of bad weather.
My face.
I told you once, no more pretty boys. Yeah, Myron, if he shows up again, I'll make a star out of him.
And so the little duckling realized that he had left his real happiness back in that little pond in the middle. Hey, now wait a minute. You're not going back.
Of course not. I'm just starting my new job. Okay, you guys, let her go.
But why are you...
I figure in a week I'll be ugly enough to scare anybody. But meanwhile, I'm still in show business.
Well, the peace and quiet of Frostbite Falls has been pretty well shattered these last few days. First, Colonel McCornpone, editor of the Picayune Intelligence, sponsored a treasure hunt to find a buried pot containing $1 million in Confederate money.
Plus a 1910 Stearns Knight Roadster reconditioned.
Then the good citizens of Frostbite Falls tried so hard to find the Picayune pot that they riddled the town with holes and tunnels.
Here's a spot where nobody's dug yet. Hey, where'd you come from?
I'm digging from the bottom up.
Next, a gang of bank robbers led by Babyface Braunschweiger
Alias Boris Bedenow, folks.
took advantage of the hole-digging spree to burrow under the town bank in order to rob it. And finally, when Rocky and Bullwinkle tried to warn the bank, Bullwinkle said the wrong thing.
Hey, it's a stick-up!
And the bank guards immediately opened fire on our friend.
Hey, wait a minute. It's me.
Hold your fire. I recognize that helmet. That's our boy Rocky.
And his boy, Bullwinkle.
What's this all about, Rocky?
Robbers, crooks, thieves.
Oh, come. There's no need to call names.
Not you, Mr. Fremley. You have bandits in your basement.
Safecrackers in my cellar.
Yeah, and villains in your vault.
Come on, men.
And our friends dashed for the basement of the bank, only to find it empty.
Hot diggies, they're gone.
Yes, there's only one thing.
What's that?
The money's gone with them.
After 'em, Bullwinkle. They can't have gone far.
True enough, for at that moment, Boris and the light-fingered 5-2 were just pulling away from the bank in their getaway car.
Give me a hand, Bullwinkle. I gotta catch 'em.
Right, Rock!
And the Mighty Moose seized his friend and tossed him high into the air. In a moment, Rocky was flying after the retreating car and slowly overtaking it. But the cunning crook was prepared for even this eventuality.
Okay, Three Finger, fire!
Fortunately for our hero, the shell burst fell short of him.
He's too high, Babyface.
Raskolnikov. Here, use special high-power shell.
Okay, Babyface.
And the robber loaded his terrible weapon, aimed carefully, and fired. The recoil blew open the gun barrel and drove the getaway car into a wall. But it had done its dreadful work well. The shell burst right in front of our hero, and dazed and shaken, he spun toward the ground.
I finally got that meddlesome squirrel. Oh, boy, it's a black leather day.
But where do we get another car?
Where did we get this one?
We stole it.
So steal another one.
But where?
Sure enough, Boris had forgotten that there were very few cars in Frostbite Falls.
You mean we gotta make our getaway by hitchhiking?
Babyface, we're disappointed in you.
Come, fellas. Do you think I'll let you down?
Yes.
Oh. Where is your fate? Where is your throne?
Where is the car?
Indeed, Babyface Braunschweiger might have met a sorry fate right then if he hadn't spotted something in a nearby window.
Look, there's the car.
Sure enough, they were standing right before the office of the Picayune Intelligence, and there in the window was the Stearns Knight runabout.
That's a getaway car?
Blackguards can be choosers. Come on.
And in a jiffy, the gang had driven the old auto right through the window and were on their way out of town.
But they're getting away, Bullwinkle.
Tut. And may I add, tut, Mr. Fremley. Remember, Rocky Squirrel is on their trail. They haven't got a chance.
Little did Bullwinkle know that directly above him, the unconscious form of our hero, mind you, was hurtling nearer and nearer to the ground. Be with us next time for Down to Earth, or Me and My Shatter.
And here he is for the knowledge-needy Mr. Know-It-All.
Hello, greedy needy. Today we are here to show you how to be a human fly. First we need A tall building, and B, a courageous moose. That's me. And thirdly, or seedly, human fly suction cups. Available at all local suction cup stores everywhere. Then all you have to do is climb up the side, touch the flag at the top, and win a prize. Then too, there is the stick the things on the building and start from there method, which is fine as long as you have a smooth, dry surface to cling to. Now that the smooth, dry surface has smoothed and dried, there is nothing that can preclude you successfully reaching the top, and... which brings up the problem of building superintendents. It sometimes becomes necessary to actually look like a fly and simply walk up the stairs to the top. And thus failing, there is always the fire escape, which not only offers protection from the building superintendent, but affords maximum protection in case of fire. And there you have it.
Hey, Mr. Know-It-All, you made it. What's next?
Next? Oh, yes, I salute. Should have used the other hand.
Gosh, that's too bad, Mr. Know-It-All. If you touched the flag, what would your human fly prize have been anyway?
The prize. Oh, yes, I remember. A human fly swatter.
Hello out there. Peabody and Sherman in here.
Where are we going today, Mr. Peabody?
Mexico, my boy. The year is 1910, and the famous person we'll tete-a-tete with is Pancho Villa. The way back whisked us back through the decades to a bandit camp in the Mexico Badlands. It was obvious that Pancho was having trouble with his men.
Pancho, you know we love you like a bandit, but how come all the time you're feeding us jumping beans?
Because, Gonzales, beans is all we got.
Well, if this keeps up, Pancho, we gonna jump ourselves over to some other leader.
Don't be silly, boys. Jumping is good for you. Gives you exercise.
We don't want no exercise.
Tell you what Pancho gonna do. I gonna ramp down, get mucho pesos, and buy beans that don't make you jump.
Better yet, stick up the town and buy tamales. I don't like beans no more.
Very well, I do it.
The nearest town was El Famino, undoubtedly the most poverty-stricken metropolis in the world. Sherman, we must warn these people Pancho Villa is on his way, and we'll start with that street cleaner.
Who's a street cleaner? I am the mayor.
Oh, I beg your pardon, Your Honor.
Mr. Mayor, you better tell your citizens that Pancho Villa is coming to rob you.
Oh, no, he ain't.
Why not?
Because we got nothing he can rob us of. This town is destitute, poor, bankrupted, broke.
What do you keep in that bank?
That's not a bank. It's a motel.
Mr. Mayor, have you any idea what Pancho Villa will do if he robs you and doesn't get any money?
Sure. He'll take an IOU.
He'll destroy the town.
Well, if that's the way it's gonna be, that's the way it's gonna be. Excuse me, senors, but I have a luncheon engagement around the corner.
What do we do, Mr. Peabody?
Well, there must be some money in the town, Sherman, and it's up to us to raise it. Just then, Pancho rode in.
Stick 'em up, town.
Mr. Villa, I wonder if you could come back at 3.
3? Can you give me one good reason why, senor?
Because the town doesn't have any money to give you now, but by 3 it will have.
That's not a bad reason. Okay, I come back at 3. Vámonos, caballo.
Our first step was the El Famino Bank.
You wish a room, senor?
The mayor was right. This is a motel.
We got special this week on safe deposit boxes. They're very comfortable, senors.
Look, my good man, if I were to hold you up, what would I get?
A sore back. I weigh 200 pounds.
No, Mr. Peabody means that if he held you up with a gun, what would he get?
Excuses. Nothing but excuses.
You have no money, then?
No one in El Famino has money, except maybe old man Moss. He's a millionaire.
Oh?
Sure, he saved money all his life. I bet you he's got at least $1.50 salted away.
The Moss Rancho was located on the very edge of town. We approached the rancho, and there on the porch sat Old Man Moss, kicking the bucket.
Mr. Moss, Pancho Villa is going to hold up the town at 3, and unless he gets money, he'll wipe out everything.
Would you be willing to donate $1 or so?
I would be most happy to, but all my money is tied up in food.
Food? I wonder what Pancho would say to that.
Food is all right. I was going to buy food with the money anyway. What kind of food you got, senor?
Jumping beans. 20 crates of them.
Senors, if I was to take these beans to my men, they would jump me to death. Well, I guess I got to wipe the town out. Who's got a match?
I can't let you do that, Pancho. I was willing to let you get away with a loan of $1 or 2 to prevent any violence, but as for wiping El Famino out...
How are you going to stop me?
With this! I produced a photograph of a fascinating senorita, one whose beauty was enough to overcome any man. Pancho Villa took one look at it and promptly fell asleep, and, strangely enough, so did all the other gentlemen in that area. We removed the desperado's guns and sent him riding off where he came from.
But suppose he comes back?
We'll leave this picture with the town. Pancho will fall asleep every time he sees it.
But I don't understand, Mr. Peabody. Why does everyone fall asleep when they look at this?
It's an old Spanish custom, Sherman.
It is?
Of course. This girl's name is Esther. And you know that when you see Esther, you fall asleep.
Boris Badenov and his gang, the Light-Fingered 5-2, have successfully plundered the Frostbite Falls Bank and are making their getaway in a 1910 Stearns Night runabout.
This is a getaway car, babyface.
It's pretty slow, boss.
Don't worry, boys. This was fastest car in Frostbite Falls.
How do you know?
Was only car in Frostbite Falls.
And back in town, Bullwinkle and the bank president wait for Rocky to return, unaware that he has been knocked out while flying and is directly above them, hurtling toward the ground unconscious.
But Bullwinkle, suppose those crooks try to hurt Rocky.
Then with my own 2 hands, I'll... Ooh!
You what, Bullwinkle?
Rocky! It's not like you to drop in so unexpected.
Uh-oh, he's hurt, Bullwinkle. We better get him to a hospital.
And in a little while, Rocky was being examined at the Cochiching County Hospital.
How is he, Doc? What's the matter?
Well, your friend has a frontal tumescent edema with capillary suffusion.
That does it! They can't do that to my buddy. I'm personally going to tear them crooks from limb to limb.
And the furious Moose dashed out of the hospital on his mission of revenge.
What was it you said I had, Doctor?
Well, in non-medical terms, you've got a bump on the head.
Hokey smoke! Bullwinkle!
But it was too late. Bullwinkle was already on his bicycle, heading out of town and after Babyface and his mob. Fortunately for his efforts, the Stearns Night runabout was very easy to follow, for it dropped a constant trail of nuts and bolts behind it. As a result, when one of the thugs chanced to look back...
Hey, Babyface, somebody's following us on a sickle.
Motorcycle?
Bicycle.
Impossible.
But no, Bullwinkle was pumping furiously and actually gaining on the car as it roared over a twisting mountain road.
Faster, Spike, faster.
It won't go no faster, Babyface.
Then quick, give me my book.
Your book? This is no time to catch up on your reading.
It's time for this reading. Look.
The Golden Treasury of Fiendish Plans.
Right. And here is plan number 1.
And Boris began to sprinkle carpet tacks and razor blades out of the back of the speeding car. Bullwinkle's tires were instantly punctured and torn to shreds. But he never faltered. In a few seconds, he was running on the rims and coming closer than ever. In desperation, Boris piled up every bit of loose trash in the getaway car and shoved the pile out the back.
Uh-oh! Looks like a second-hand store coming at me.
Fortunately for Bullwinkle, the first thing he hit was the rear seat. Instantly, he took off, flew clear over the rest of the trash, and landed even closer to the car.
Oh, boy, some book this is.
And the disappointed Boris tossed out his copy of the Golden Treasury of Fiendish Plan.
Oop!
In a second, Bullwinkle's bike skidded off the road and down a mountainside.
Great work, boss.
Oh, it was nothing any cold-blooded American gangster wouldn't have done.
But at that moment, Bullwinkle's bike came out on a lower level of the mountain road, and when Boris's car turned a corner...
Babyface, look! He's ahead of us!
Oh, boy!
Gee, I must be going faster than I thought. I passed him without even seeing him. Well, now what, Babyface?
Wait till I figure out who's chasing who.
But Boris's problem was soon solved, for at that moment, a tiny chipmunk scurried out on the road ahead of Bullwinkle's bike. Of course, the soft-headed, soft-hearted Moose jammed on the brakes and skidded to a halt.
There you are, little fella. Go ahead.
Look out!
It pays to be courteous because... Ooh!
Well, what will be the outcome of this horrendous smash-up? We'll see next time in Hop, Skip, and Junk, or Bullwinkle's Big Toe.